ひれ伏す気はないらしい。この重みこの重み私を白兵戦行きます。私が望むものは、否定開始。天地に示すの我が幻想のしかるはその輝きに枷は解けきる。オーセンティックトライアンフ。どれにしようかな。地辱を狙え。色うむ地辱を拭う時が来た。逃がしはしない。逃がしはしない。証明開始。戦場にたける女王を見てもらう。このバクからの解放をもって私は私を否定する。オーセンティックトライアンフ。この重みこそ私をこういうこともできる古きルーム。なんだと。異論はない。道を分かる。もろいもろい。逃がしはしない。もちろん狙え。戦いようはある。
The hits and also artwork. Are you kidding me? Searching for artwork. One of these is not like the other. One of these things just doesn't belong. Yeah, so to be completely fair with this comparison, I will be using the level 100 stats because the level 90 stats does not show for Zenobia because since she's a 4-star, her base max level is 80. So it's not fair to compare level 80 to a level 90, like in terms of like damage and everything. And I'm pretty sure this also isn't including foos. So I mean, but foos are still 1,000 for each stat. So Zenobia here has almost 12,000 attack, and only 14,000 HP. Right here, Jeanne has 3,000 more attack, but she's also missing almost half a thousand attack compared to Zenobia. Now, while this HP difference is notable, you are arts looping. You're not supposed to be getting hit, period. So, like, what does 3,000 health matter when you're not really supposed to be getting hit when you're farming? And for boss fights, like, if you're on JP, you're probably, and you're doing an arts DPS, you're probably using double Castoria. So, like, that, like, HP is a non-factor. So that's why for here, wait, why do you have, oh, now I can fix this right now, because that is incorrect. Alright, yeah, that's why here I gave the win to Zenobia, and HP, it goes to Jeanne, but I don't value it that much. Next here, I don't need to bring up the cards, the other website, Starweight. I didn't mark these as a winner because they're so close, like 5 Starweight. Like, are you really gonna notice that in game? Probably not. These are like close enough that I'm like, yeah, it doesn't matter. MP gain. This is where Jeanne Archer definitely has to get the dub, because this is significant enough that you know, Jeanne might not need cards in the back to help her get her MP. but there's a caveat to that, which I'll get into later when I go into skills. But just MP alone, Jeanne Archer would probably be able to completely loop her, or be closer to looping her MP than Zenobia. Because skipping ahead down here, both of them have 4 hits on their MP, so they'd be like apples to apples. Like without any other buffs, Jeanne Archer would be like looping better. Next, Star Gen. Again, same as Star Weight. These are so similar that there was no point in giving a winner to either one of them. Like, it would just been a win and a win. Like, they're too close for it to matter. Alright, next, Dex. Going over Dex. Zenobia has better cards meant for looping. She has 2 quick cards, 2 arts cards. If you use any quick servants, quick cards can, with the right buff, quick cards can basically become arts cards. Looking at you, Scotty. Zenobia only has 3 hits on the quick cards, and then four hits on the arts card, which that definitely matters when you're looping MP. And like just base attack charge, like compared to Jeanne Archer, she overall should be looping more MP, especially if you don't get a crit. You should be looping, getting more MP from Zenobia than Jeanne Archer. And then just 1 buster card with 4 hits, 5 hits on extra attack, and since extra attack is just like does damage, stars, MP, like having 5 but low MP charge means it's not gonna be as good as it could be. Bring over to Jeanne Archer. 4 hits on the quick card, so she does have a better quick card, but she only has 1 of them. 2 hits on the arts cards, so that you're gonna need to crit if you want to get a lot of MP back. But 4 buster cards. I have a problem with this because it's supposed to be an arts servant, but she has 2 buster cards. And then 5 hits on the extra attack, so apples to apples, she'd be doing, her extra attack is gonna hit hard, do more than Zenobia. Yeah. So that's a quick comparison between the two, just by stats alone. I will bring this up like right now before going into skills. Debuff resist, crit damage, and an MP Jeanne on a water battle side. This is also coming into the year 1 Summer Servant. This is extremely situational and otherwise won't be doing much in most cases. Zenobia, quick resist, crit strength, crit damage 8%, so 2% less. Also the same with debuff resist, 5% less. But she has quick mana burst by 8%, like at all times. So her quick cards, like even though she has 1 less hit, her quick cards probably are going to be doing more than Jeanne Archer's. Next, we're going to skills. Okay, so both of these units have extremely similar skills, like all-around kits. If you take their whole kits and look at them objectively, like not by skill or where it is, just by like what they have, they pretty much have the same exact stuff. They're just like moved around. On Jeanne's skill 1, she has the mana burst, 30%, for 2 hits of invincibility, lasting 3 turns. This is on a low cooldown in comparison. But Zenobia's skill 1 does a lot more, which is why it's on a longer cooldown. 20% MP gauge and stars every turn. Like, this is why it's a longer cooldown, and I'm surprised this is on a 4-star, because this is just good stuff. Like, granted, like, because it's a 5-turn, if you're running Tamamo or just things that can reduce skill cooldown, you're going to be able to possibly double stack this. So possibly get a 60% arts buff for a turn. While that's probably not gonna happen with Zenobia. Because it's 7 turns, like, you're gonna have to do a lot to try to double stack that. But in terms of looping, this is why Zenobia, her MP charge per attack isn't as big a deal as it could be, because she only has to get 80% from an MP, or 80% excluding the MP when she's maxed out. And ignore the gameplay earlier, because my Zenobia unfortunately is not maxed out. She does not have her skills leveled, and it shows when she's trying to go through a node that sometimes I need a little more help. I gotta like plug suit a waiver or something. At least right now. Like, this is talking about like when units are fully maxed out. They have all their stuff. So yeah. Having like 20% per turn for an arts looping servant, I think, is better than having it just a flat gauge. So yeah, skill 2, guts, critical star absorption, crit stars. This is why Zenobia, I think, is a better crit archer, and she'll work better in a boss fight, because you can choose when to pop this. Like, you can do a couple turns of looping your NP, get the big crit buff, and I'll go into that later. And then just like one turn of doing so much damage. It's not like, it's unbelievable what Zenobia can do with her face guards. Like, not as much as Super Orion, but she does do a lot of crit damage, and that because they're crits. And she gets star weight. This is something Jeanne does not have. Jeanne cannot get star weight. So again, this is why Zenobia is a better crit archer. Jeanne's skill 2. This is her battery, but Jeanne has an MP damage mod in her kit, and this is something Zenobia doesn't have. So this is how Jeanne Archer can get away with being MP1 and like possibly out damaging Zenobia at higher MPs, because she can sorry, her buffs are multiplicative. She has more multiplicative buffs, so she'll do more damage. MP damage doesn't add on with attack. They multiply into each other, which results in a higher damage buff. Jeanne Archer also has a crit damage. It's only 1 though, and it's only on the water battle side. So again, Summer Servant, it's only useful when you're by water. Like, otherwise this does nothing. So does kind of bring down the skill. Both of these turn 2 skills have 6 turn cooldown, so there's no point in arguing whether one is better, because they're literally the same timing. Here we go on the 3rd skill, looking at Jeanne Archer first. 20% attack buff, and then another 20% for any ally with a good alignment. So, because Jeanne Archer is a Summer Servant, she cannot get her own buff. This is something Jolter has, where she gives a attack buff to dragon enemies, but she does not count as a dragon. Thus, she doesn't get her own buff. This is good for teams, but arts looping servant, like, damage from your other servants does not matter. You're literally using those supports, Castorias, Tomos, waivers, all those units to try to help loop the MP or get more get MPs going to support. Zenobia, again, charisma, 20% charisma. This one's a little weird, but it's matters more in boss fights, reducing crit chance, or increasing the difficulty of an opponent to crit you. Like 30%, because looking at the Nightingale challenge quest that just happened on NA, when Lancer Medusa got her buffs, your units would get massacred. Like I remember Merlin just getting one shot. Like a bunch of my units would just get one shot because they were just getting critted. So this is nice. Both of them like turn skill 2 are on 5-turn cooldown, so like trying to compare that, not gonna matter. Alright. Last thing, we're looking at the MPs and looking at them objectively. Both of them are 4 hits, and they have the exact same scaling with the hits: 10, 20, 30, 40. But Zenobia, because she's a more recent servant, a lot of these more recent servants are coming out with damage mods. When Zenobia like also affects on the MP, so for her turn, she gets 10% attack. So you're always supposed to lead with the MP, but that's arch looping in general. You're always supposed to lead with the MP. 150% damage for kin enemies. Here we go. This is a lot of servants. Like, yeah, like ignore all the lancers. But this is a pretty significant amount of units that they're not super common. Like I know Semiramis was recently in the Christmas event on JP. I remember she was a boss at the end of it. Yeah, these are not like, these are hard-hitting units, and like Berserkers especially. Like take her against Morgan in Lost Belt 6, and Zenobia is gonna do big damage, not just because she's a Berserker. Jeanne Archer, your 1 servant, doesn't have damage mods. Yeah, and again, their scaling is the exact same, 450 to 750. And then there are overcharge effects. Every time Zenobia does her MP, she's getting 50% crit damage. So on the 3rd turn, your last 2 face cards, if you're going for an extra attack or Brave Chain with Zenobia, which should be, she's going to have 150% crit damage, along with all the other buffs going on. If it's 2 arts cards, good lord, are you going to be doing massive damage? That's what. Oh, I mean, I'm not including this, but like, yeah, against all those king berserkers, against all these guys, especially Morgan, that's something to consider. But yeah, so 30% attack times 30% arts buff, and then yeah, and then like with 150% crit damage. Jeanne Archer, she gets stars, everything. So basically, Zenobia's skill 1, except hers can stack, so you will be getting a lot of stars from this. If you keep looping it, you can possibly get up to 150. But that by then, like, there's such thing as too much. You don't need you're not gonna need you're not gonna need 40 stars, because the chance of you not getting any stars whatsoever, like if you happen to have Merlin out, then definitely don't need to get go for higher overcharge. Zenobia, you can go for higher overcharge, but it's only gonna work once. You're probably never gonna get multiple overcharges in a single loop unless you get really big, like really good art scripts. That's the only time you're gonna see higher overcharge. Yeah, because up to 300, and then like you're never gonna see 500 unless you get buffed by like Morgan. Bumps up overcharge by 2 levels. And that's why I value Zenobia more. Now, before I go on to the CEs, because I do include that in the comparison, Zenobia is a 4-star. It is And John Archer is an especially limited servant. He has to be on special campaigns to get her. So more likely than not, or it is much easier to get MP5 Zenobia. I'll even say then like MP1 or MP2 John Archer. So even just MP2, 600%. That is significant in getting to the overcharge damage and making it easier to loot. And then last thing, their CEs. Like equipping this CE like gives Zenobia 30%, which actually makes it exactly what John Archer's buff does, except hers is permanent. She will always have 30% MP damage, while Jean Archer needs skill 2 and the CE to match that. But she'll also have a better base arts performance. So it's just something to consider. Also, like Zenobia will get a 30% battery if her guts procs. So something to consider. Yeah. So all in all, I think Zenobia is a better built unit, especially because she's a 4-star. I'm honestly surprised that like how much time has changed. Thank you for watching. I hope to see you guys in the next one. Yeah.